Coming to you live from downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
Good evening, I'm Joelle Broussard.
And I'm Jackson Gallant, and you are watching
the MediaPlex Insider. Council has voted in favor of stopping garbage collection in alleys.
It was actually my council question. I'm the person that brought forward to remove garbage from alleys. So that's obviously I support what happened yesterday. It was my initiative, and I'm glad to see that 8 councillors were supportive of it and that it's going to be moving out of alleys.
It is hoped that this initiative will save the city over $500,000.
Now, here is Constable Stara Werstein with our weekly Crime Stoppers update.
The Windsor Police Service is currently investigating a suspected arson that caused approximately $1 million in damages to 2 new Amherstburg homes. On February 16th, shortly before 6 a.m., officers responded to an active fire in the 700 block of Elliott Point Road. A newly built home was engulfed in flames when emergency crews arrived. The home was fully destroyed in the blaze, and the roof of a neighboring residence sustained significant damage. The fire is being treated as suspicious. The structure was vacant at the time of the incident, and no one was physically injured in the blaze. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Windsor Police Arson Unit, or should you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers by calling us at 519-258-8477, or you can submit a tip online at catchcrooks.com. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Here's Dale Kabukian with more on the red light cameras being proposed to Windsor this year.
The City of Windsor is planning to add red light camera systems this year. According to the city, the additional 10 camera systems will be installed in the 296 signalized intersections. Councilor says the key reasons for installing red light cameras are to reduce collision, change driver behavior, and increase road and pedestrian safety. The first 10 red lights were installed in 2022 in intersections including Wyandotte Street East at Goyo, Wyandotte Street at Olette Avenue, University Avenue West at Crawford Avenue, McHugh Street at Clover Avenue. Behind the Wood Bar store is a business near Wyandotte at Olette where a red light camera systems were installed. According to one of its employees, having more red light camera systems in downtown would help change drivers' behaviors.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't direct the business directly, but it does affect me as somebody who works downtown directly, right across from the red light cameras. There's a couple of intersections where people, due to construction, weren't paying attention to how things were originally.
According to the City Council, the location of new camera systems will be based on analysis of recent collisions data as well as a review with the Windsor Police. For the MediaPlex, I am Dale Kabuki.
2 local entrepreneurs put on an event meant to connect the community through storytelling. Elliot St. Aubin tells us more.
Have you ever looked at someone and thought, I wonder what their life is like? Well, Lyanne Barakat and Lauren Bodie have the answer for you. They put on their first ever story swap, where you and a friend get to write about complete strangers.
This kind of puts you in that position where you can actually write about perfect strangers in a room and they can write about you. Everybody here is going to go home with a character development booklet, so we all have to develop characters about each other and write them into stories. This whole concept was actually a dream of my friends, and we're like, you know what, let's make this a reality. We had no idea how it was going to go, and we couldn't be more proud of the turnout.
Bodie said she took inspiration from her time in Ireland when coming up with the idea.
If you meet a perfect stranger in Ireland, they'll very rarely ask you what you do for a living, right? In order to define that first moment when you're meeting someone. They'll often ask instead, what is your story?
The story swap is open to everyone. You don't even need to be a writer, just creative. Alexander Newman and Rachel Gray, who came together to the story swap, said they aren't even writers.
No, not in any really way. We are creatives in our own right,
yes,
but
no,
certainly not writers. This is definitely a new experience as well.
If you're a writer interested in participating in the story swap, keep an eye out because they'll be hosting more later this year. For the MediaPlex, I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
Arceloni Chohan sits down with Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino.
Today we have Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino. What is your stand on the warming bus initiative in Windsor, sir?
I think it's a fantastic idea, and thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I think the warming bus has been a great initiative. It's only 3 days old now, and in those 3 days, we've already had close to 70 people use this transitional overnight bus that has been keeping people warm and really bringing services to the people that need them. So I'm very happy to see it taking place.
Why do you think this kind of initiative in Windsor is important?
Well, there's all kinds of different initiatives that are important for sure, but this one in particular is important because it is helping our most vulnerable population that needs a warm place to sleep and needs a meal and needs connections to different resources.
Yeah, sure. And what kind of changes are you hoping with this initiative?
Well, I'm hoping that this initiative gets people off the streets and gets them to places that they need to be because, it's you can't have people sleeping outside or sleeping on sidewalks or sleeping on benches. That people deserve better, and this initiative helps bring them to those better places.
How can you summarize your message?
I guess my summary would be, that we've got to meet people where they're at. And we've got to try and bring services to the people that can't get to those services, whether it's because of a distance or a disability or a mental health situation. I think what's most important is to get help to the people and get them to the help they need.
Thank you so much once again. And we have been enjoying Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino. For MediaPlex News, I'm Saloni Chauhan.
With Leap Day around the corner, Jesse LaRouche has a couple questions.
In 2 days, it's Leap Day. And did you know we had one every 4 years? And the reason we have one is to correct the orbit of the sun so we don't run out of days. I didn't know any of this either. I had to Google it. So let's see if others are as clueless as I am. How often do leap years happen?
Every 10 years?
I believe every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Do leap years have anything to do with frogs?
They probably do at some point.
Maybe the name's influenced?
No, they don't.
And if you were born in 2000 on Leap Day, how old would you be right now in leap years?
6, I think.
What? 24.
Pretty old, I think.
And why do they happen?
Because we decided that we need to do it.
To add a day, so we can have more time, and also maybe the sunlight or...
Well, I know scientifically we add a day because there's that year it takes a little bit more time for like the sun to orbit. Like I think it takes like 5 extra hours. So if we don't add that extra day and account onto it, it would have moved our seasons back. And within 700 years, we would have had summer starting in December. So I know that that's why we had to move them.
Well, as you can see, I'm not the only clueless one, but at least somebody knows what's going on. For MediaPlex News, I'm Jesse LaRouche.
Students at St. Clair College were called together for their graduation ceremony. The 56th convocation was held at the Chrysler Theater last week. Amin Petiar reports.
Following this academic year, college president Dr. Patricia France will retire, and more than 300 graduates will accept their degrees and certifications from her. Mehari Hagos was awarded with an honorary degree in applied arts in social justice and legal studies. He says he grew up in a rough neighborhood and made it his goal to give back.
We came to Windsor, Ontario, where we grew up in Glengarry, this small community downtown, and at 11 years old, 12 years old, I was, witnessing a lot of crime. I remember walking home from Bagley, I got beat up by a police officer. He punched me in my face, and I went home and told my mom.
Students can now step into the real world in their chosen field of study. All the students were feeling proud of themselves, including Aditya Singhania, an event management student at St. Clair College.
It was really nice to be here today on our convocation. We all passed together and it was such a great journey. We all loved the journey and now hope for the best for our future. Thank you so much to be here.
For MediaPlex News, I am Amin Patiar.
It was fairly mild for this year's annual Coldest Night of the Year fundraiser, but as G2 reports, it still helped bring in some much-needed money.
The downtown mission in Windsor exceeded expectations Saturday night, raising a record amount of funds for the coldest night of the year event. Residents united to combat homelessness and hunger, raising $100,000 in the process. Executive Director Raksini Ponian Golen expressed gratitude for the community's overwhelming support.
Really good. This is our 10th year doing it, and it's a great event to bring the community together. We've had a lot of walkers sign up this year. We had, I think, over 240. We had amazing support from sponsors and local businesses, which has supported the event as well. And it's just a great event to bring people together and raising funds and awareness for the work of the mission, providing food, shelter, and hope to people who are homeless and hungry and hurting here in Windsor, Essex.
Funds will directly aid those in need, providing essential services like shelter and meals. The success of the event highlights Windsor compassion and resilience in helping people experiencing homelessness. For MediaPlex News, I am G2.
Cleanup is underway at LaSalle's Vollmer complex after a deer smashed through a glass window and jumped into the public pool. Look at this dramatic video captured by Francesco Sino. It shows some staff members at Vollmer chasing the deer around the pool deck. Sino said around 2:45 Sunday afternoon, everyone around the pool hurried to change into the change room to escape to safety while the workers tried to rescue the deer from the pool. LaSalle's mayor said after about 15 minutes, the deer was safely lured back outside. The pool is closed for now.
Ever wonder about the history of Lego? Well, Zach Balog is here with the details.
Lego was found in 1932 by a carpenter named Ole Kirk Christensen and started out as a line of wooden toys. Christensen would then call his company Lego, this coming from the Danish word legat, which translates to play well. Flash forward to 1949, and this is when Lego would start producing the first plastic brick, which was a precursor to the brick we know today. Ah, the minifigure. These figs can be found in just about every single set and can range from city folk to knights, pirates, and just about everything in between. The minifigure was in development in the mid-1970s, and it wasn't until 1978 when the first Lego set would include the minifigure. As we get into the 80s and even the 90s, Lego was doing fantastic with sets like Pirates, Castles, and the Adventure series. However, in 1992, Lego saw its profits decline, which caused the company a great deal of concern. It wasn't until the early thousands that Lego started to recover thanks to the series Bionicle, which was a line that uses Technic building pieces to interlock it all together. And by 2005, Lego was well on its way back to popularity, and this included sets like Star Wars and the modular buildings in 2007. Nowadays, Lego has found popularity in the world of entertainment, including YouTube, where many YouTubers will show off their displays, such as their castles, Star Wars, and even custom Lego cities. Lego has found its way into other forms of entertainment, with many feature films and even video games, just to name a few. So I hope you learned about the history of Lego and what makes it a popular toy brand today. I'm Zach, and remember to keep calm, build on. We'll see you next time.
Now on to weather. Let's send it over to Diksha.
On Wednesday, we will see a high of 12 degrees with the chance of showers. Thursday, there will be a chance of flurries or rain showers with a high of 1. And Friday, back to sunshine with a high of 7. Spring-like weather will continue into next week. Back to you at the desk.
The St. Clair College women's basketball team has qualified for the OCAA semifinals. As Vatsal Coracia reports, it was a dominant performance that got them there.
St. Clair beat up on George Brown in the OCAA women's basketball playoffs on Saturday, winning by a score of 87-53. The Saints jumped out to 25-16 lead in the first quarter and never looked back. St. Clair's number 3, Kathleen Overeem, lead the team with 34 points.
It kind of just happens, but we always have a plan when we go out. If we want to, put the pedal down, if we want to score what we can and limit their points. So that the spread just kind of happened, but we're really dialed in what we need to do today.
In the final quarter, George Brown managed to take 12 points against 11 for the Saints, but it didn't matter as they had a huge lead of 34 points. Jasmine Davis scored 16 points for George Brown. The semi-final will be played on March 2 at Lambton Keister Group Athletics and Fitness Complex, with St. Clair taking on Algonquin. Saints head coach Andy Kiss says they will begin preparations for that match.
We're going to scout our next opponent, which is Algonquin College, a real good team on the east side. We'll stick to our process. We'll scout them hard, and we'll prepare for them. But we have goals. Our team has goals, and we're on the way.
For MediaPlex News, this is Vatsal Chaurasia.
Cam Segan is back with another look into this year's NHL Draft.
It's time for part 2 of our look ahead to the NHL Draft. With Greentree, Spellacy, and Cristoforo all pretty much locks, there are multiple other Spits who have a chance to hear their names called in June. Cole Davis is at the top of the list. In November, Cole Davis became Goal Davis on his way to winning OHL Rookie of the Month. He's the type of player who's always willing to get into the dirty areas. He's not the biggest guy by any means, but his offensive instincts, motor, and underrated physicality more than make up for it. He's found a home on the top line with Greentree and Abraham post-deadline. All three are eligible to return next season. On the back end, Carson Woodall is turning into a very nice two-way defender. With 21 points in 45 games, he blends that offensive ability with a really responsible defensive game. He may be the team's best two-way defenseman as soon as next year. A much different player archetype is Joseph Eichler. He's not going to hit the score sheet too often, but I can guarantee he's going to hit somebody on the opposing team. Perhaps the best on the team at laying someone out, it's all the more impressive when you consider he's only listed at 6 feet. If he was a few inches taller, he'd be a no doubt about it selection. And if I had to guess, I'd say one of these players mentioned are NHL drafted this summer. All of this talk about the draft is to illustrate how young the Spitfires now are. While they have found their footing late in the year, they look to be in a great position for the future because of how much production they bring back next season and beyond.
Our power panel recaps the Super Bowl. Let's have a look.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk. I'm here with my power panel.
Ksenia Semenova.
I'm Riley Livingston. I'm Pauline Bunyay.
And I got a question. Are you ready for some football? Woo! Well, the Super Bowl was last Sunday where the Chiefs faced against the 49ers to see who would take the trophy home. Last week, it was reported that the game was the most watched telecast in history with over 123 million viewers. Now, there were a lot of wholesome moments, such as, commercials, the halftime performance, and all I gotta ask is, what'd you guys think?
I wasn't in this 123 million people.
You didn't watch it?
I don't know nothing about football and sports. For me, it's like Super Bowl. Why it's a bowl? Like, I told about you guys before. For me, I imagine a Super Bowl of ramen.
Okay.
So yes, it's like Super Bowl, but I understand that for millions of people, it's the most important moment in their year. What's happening, especially with all the celebrities that were there. Mm-hmm. More than 30 celebrities, I think, were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal.
For some, it's like the most important moment in their life.
Yeah, some people, especially if that's the player's first time going to Super Bowl, thousands and thousands of dollars for tickets, right, to go see it. I thought it was good. I didn't see it at the beginning because I had to work, so I was like rushing home to go see it. But I thought it was a good game. I normally don't really follow the football game, but I can follow the football game, so it was an interesting game to follow. And then I really just watched for commercials and halftime show, which I thought were pretty good.
Yeah, I have to say, I enjoyed the whole aspect of it, even though I went to Twitter to get the highlights, but I loved the Super Bowl commercials, especially the Twisters movie trailer, which was so good. I felt like I was transported back to 1996 and it was just great. I mean, Taylor was there.
Yes.
I mean,
She was the talk of the evening.
Let's be clear. That's why I really watched it, because Taylor Swift was in attendance.
Yes, with her whole little group of friends. I saw
Yeah.
Blake Lively. I saw Lana Del Rey.
Ice Spice.
Oh, yes, she was there
She was
too.
there as well,
Yes.
and you could clearly see like they had to explain to her what was going on.
And my mom was wondering who gave Taylor Swift like the crash course in football, because she seemed to know exactly what was happening when it was happening. Like, did she follow football before? Like, somebody had to have like sat her down and explained this is what's good and this is what's bad, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, because there's very complicated plays that happen. You don't know whether you're supposed to be like happy or sad, or like you don't know if they're winning or not. Like,
So
it's hard to
smart in
understand.
this.
She seemed to know exactly what to do. So I was like, somebody's coached her.
Somebody in her orbit of people coached her. And what really got me was soon after it was revealed that she and her family, they went to the club afterwards to celebrate. I'm like, that's the last place I want to bring my parents is to the club. I can't have them doing this. Like,
Why?
She's Taylor Swift. She's Taylor Swift, so she can take anybody who she wants anywhere.
I think her mom is always supporting her like this on the backstage.
Yes,
you know?
maybe.
So it's
What about you, Pauline? What did you think? Did you watch the game?
Well, for me, I thought I've never watched a Super Bowl never before, and I know that like everyone was. I was in the house and everyone was so attentive to the TV, and I was, what is going on? And when I go to the living room, they say like Super Bowl, la, la, and oh cool, and I go to see, and the only thing that I see is a bunch of shots from Taylor Swift, and I'm like.
It's normally not what it's like.
not normally, no.
And
no.
I was like, what is going on? So we started playing Uno.
Yes.
And from the hearing, I heard something like, I'm Michael Cera. And I was like, going to the TV. I went to the commercial and I saw this Michael Cera commercial. It was hilarious.
Yes. Sarah V.
I'm Sarah V. Ha ha ha. And they started like laughing. But it's very cool. I like the commercials because I know that someone told me that they invested millions of dollars in
Like
every
$1 million
commercial.
per 30 seconds for Super Bowl
Seriously, for the
commercials.
commercial of the cream?
For the commercials of the Super Bowl.
Any Super, not just that one, but
No,
Super Bowl
for-
commercials,
for all
because
of
there's so many people watching, there's like $1 million per second to air it on television. So they pay millions and millions of dollars to put these commercials out there. So that's why they're such a big
Think we
deal.
could get this on at the Super Bowl? We need publicity, please.
don't think so.
That's this week's episode. If you want to chime in, you can comment down below to join the conversation. And if you want to see the full episode, you can head over to the Zach Tech Productions YouTube channel. Until next time, keep talking to each other. Bye.
Up next is another installment of Talking Pictures. Here's Dylan and Blake.
Or is it Blake and Dylan?
Mr. Ford, you made a picture called Three Bad Men, which was a large-scale Western, and you had a quite elaborate land rush in it. How did you shoot that?
With a camera.
All right, guys, welcome back to Talking Pictures. Today we got two excellent talking pictures for you guys here today. We got Michael Winner's Death Wish starring Charles Bronson, and we got Philip Kaufman's Invasion of the Body Snatchers starring my personal favorite Canadian actor, Donald Sutherland.
Now, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 70s version, let's not forget, this is a remake of a Don Siegel film, which really did encapsulate some of the paranoia, that sci-fi horror paranoia happening around that same time. But the other version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers definitely doubles down on the horror elements.
Much more sinister.
Much more sinister. Really makes you feel as closed off, as trapped as Donald Sutherland does feel, or as his acting implies during the whole film, as his allies slowly but surely get taken by this entity that's just consuming everything around him.
Speaking of feeling trapped and feeling consumed, the audience might feel a sense of discomfort in the closing moments of this film until you'll soon find out that you've been duped, you've been tricked, you've been trapped. And he'll point out to you, not only to his to one of his best friends, but to the audience that you're next, and it's coming. And even in the original, the man in the street will remind you that you're next, and they're coming. And that shriek, that sound, you almost want to cover your ears yourself. It's that bad. But with Paul Kersey, you might want to close your eyes, because he's pointing at you too. If you're doing anything, the vigilante's coming.
The vigilante might feel a little bit on edge about, and he cleans up everything that's wrong, everything that's corrupt, everything that really sets his life back as he makes this commitment to a life that he can't really turn his back on at all.
Ironically enough, corrupting himself as well as stomping out the corruption of his surroundings.
And really becoming something that he could just never go back from.
The same way Donald Sutherland becomes something he certainly can't come back from, because once you fall asleep, the body snatchers will take you right down to their level. So those are the two talking pictures we compared. I've been Dylan Moskovsky.
And I'm Blake Moskovsky. Keep her tuned. We've got more talking pictures to talk about.
Hey! Fill your hand.
Huh?
Draw.
Another course we offer here at the MediaPlex is public relations. Let's have a look.
So public relations is like being a bridge between an organization and their public. As this public relations expert, you are a liaison, so you have to connect the brand or the business or the company with their public in such a way that the public responds to them in a positive manner. So the advantages of taking public relations at St. Clair College is that we have access to the MediaPlex. Now the MediaPlex offers us a converged education. It's one of 3 in the world and the only one in Canada. What that means is that we're taught in film, broadcast, radio, there's graphic design, we do event planning, we write all sorts of press releases, we work in tandem with the journalism club. So at the end of everything, you can communicate any professional message across any medium. So what do you think about public relations?
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joelle Broussard.
And I'm Jackson Gallant, and you've been watching
The MediaPlex Insider.
This has been a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
It's always been my passion to be part of a news team. I love the adrenaline rush of being there when news is breaking. I wanted to learn how to get the story and know how to present it on radio, in print, on television, or the web. I wanted to learn from the best, and I did at St. Clair College.